Hi there, and welcome to the CBD Pharmacist channel. I'm Sean Gale. I'm your CBD Pharmacist. So let me start off with a question before we dig in. And what brings you here? What are you looking for with CBD? Why did you enter into the search bar, or why looking on YouTube? And this channel is devoted to CBD only. So I'm going to share all the knowledge I've gleaned over the last almost 4 years now being in CBD. Written a book, online course. A lot of in-person presentations, online presentations with COVID, and I want to share some of what I have. So if you have questions, if you're not sure where to turn, who to trust, how to take it, how to dose it, and maybe you're complicated, all right? Maybe you have drugs, you're on a medication, concerned about drug interactions, or you've got cancer, or other kind of complication. Like, this is an ideal place for a pharmacist to be. I'm willing to step in and help and do what I can to help you make informed decisions. Talk to your physician, talk to your local pharmacist. I want to give you resources. And this, the first 12 or so videos on this channel are going to be just short versions of my online course. So you don't have to go sign up for it if you don't want to, but I'll have links on here to my website if you want to take the whole course. It's all just in one place. But if you just want to kind of get the gist of it, look through these, pick and choose what you want. But we're going to go over subjects as drug interactions, it's a big one. Drug testing. We're going to talk about CBD and opioids. We're going to talk about the immune system, how it affects that. CBD and pain, CBD and anxiety, pitfalls to avoid, dosing. We're going to go over it all. So this is a complete source. If you want a quick answer, you can just, as the videos accumulate, you can click on those and get what you want. So I'm here to be a resource for you. And so with that, let's dive in. And if you like what you're hearing, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. I'm willing to interact with you on any level. So just the more the better. All right. So let's go in. My first section is going to be called "What is CBD?" So CBD stands for cannabidiol. It's a component of the hemp plant. When we say CBD, typically we don't just mean cannabidiol. I mean, it is the heavy hitter in the hemp plant. But it's actually the CBD and all the other things that are in the plant. So there's 112 other cannabinoids, which CBD is the most prevalent. There's terpenes, there's flavonoids. There's hundreds of different elements in the hemp plant. It's a really cool plant. It's an amazing plant, and you'll hear more stories about this as I go along because I think it's so cool. And I wasn't taught this in pharmacy school. I did research this on my own. That's why I'm here. Because I started this journey myself, and it was a failed experiment. I took the wrong amount, the wrong way. Didn't work. I thought it was all kind of hocus pocus, and my customers gave me all these great stories. So I thought, maybe there's something to it. So I did the hard work, read the articles, went online. It's hard to find good information you can trust out there. So I've kind of aggregated it all together, I think, with this clinical mindset, and brought that in here. So CBD. We typically mean CBD oil, which is all these other components to it. There's full spectrum, broad spectrum. We'll talk about that in a minute. But CBD is the heavy hitter. It does most of what we think about. It does a lot of the good things when we talk about CBD, or what it possibly can do. So when we talk about CBD, we talk about hemp. So what's the difference between hemp, marijuana, and cannabis? So hemp plant, marijuana plant are two very different plants. Hemp has very low THC. Marijuana has very high THC, like 15-20%. Or whatever percentage it is, and hemp plant has 0.3% or less. And as long as it has 0.3% or less, then it's legal for sale. If the hemp plant stays in the field too long, that THC will rise. So you do have to be careful when you get your hemp from, or you get your CBD oil from, to make sure they're doing the right testing, make sure the soil is good. I'm going to show you all that later. But there are some risks with the hemp plant that you have to be aware of. And as long as they're doing their labs and sharing that with you, you should be in good shape. And so, cannabis is kind of the family where marijuana and hemp come from. So up here is cannabis, and marijuana and hemp are kind of subsets of that species. It's legal because it's at that 0.3% or less, which is what the government deemed as legal. And CBD will not get you high. THC will. That's the active component in marijuana. You can get your CBD with or without THC. All right, it's pretty cool. But the 0.3%, I think, just has an effect to help wake up your receptors in your body that receive the CBD. So it's got I think there's a couple things that are good about it, but I think that's the easiest way to explain it. Is it I think helps the CBD work better. It's a very small amount, but I think the closer we get the CBD to its natural state, the better. Okay. So this next slide, I'm going to show you a picture of two different plants. One's a marijuana plant, one's a hemp plant. Can you tell the difference? So take a close look at those, and the one on the right is the hemp plant. The one left is the marijuana plant. Hemp plants can grow 6, 7, 8 feet tall. They take the CBD from the flowering part, and actually, if you can look on the left, that little glowing part of the plant, like those little, looks like little elements or something on the plant. Those are called trichomes, and that's where the CBD is. That's where the cannabinoids are, and so it's a good thing. So we want that when we do this. On to my last slide, talking about CBD. The formulations. Full spectrum means all parts of the plant, which includes THC. Broad spectrum means all parts of the plant without THC. And then you have the isolate, which is just CBD by itself. So you can get all three of those. 90+% of the manufacturers out there do full and broad spectrum. It's kind of your choice. Broad spectrum means below measurable levels of THC, but there's still a tiny, tiny bit in there. You can never totally get rid of it altogether. So buyer beware. We'll talk about that more later if you get drug tested at work. And so the entourage effect is the next question on there. And entourage effect is how everything works better together. How I just said, I like everything to be in its natural state as much as we can. So it's designed to work better together. And all these different cannabinoids, all these 113 cannabinoids, all have a little different effect in the body. It's pretty crazy. Like, they all don't do the same thing. And they all kind of tweak it. And we'll talk more about the next unit where we talk about an endocannabinoid system, which is what CBD affects. So, we're still learning what a lot of this is, but it's pretty cool. And the terpenes and flavonoids, all different effects too. You won't find anything else in nature that has this kind of composition of all these nutrients. So it's really cool. The hemp plants, like I said, it's pretty amazing. And so CBD, we'll talk more about what CBD does, but it affects the endocannabinoid system, which is all about keeping you in balance. And it has a whole host of effects. It affects all kinds of neurotransmitters. There's receptors all over your body that it does. It's really cool what it does. And that word to keep in mind is homeostasis. And that's about keeping our body healthy, the immune system, whether you're talking about CBD for pain, anxiety, or sleep. Those are the three biggest reasons why people take it. It's going to help with all those things. All right, and then, so I'm going to show you one more slide here, the entourage effect. So this is just a little representation of cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids. Okay, and that's just, it all works better together than they would apart, is what we mean here. So I hope this lesson was useful to you. Get setting the groundwork for CBD, what it is, what it isn't, and we're going to get a little more into the science behind CBD tomorrow. So don't be afraid to dive in a little bit there. It won't be too painful. It'll be painless, as a matter of fact, in probably 5, 6, 7 minutes, somewhere in there. And we'll dive in together. So let's keep going, and I'm glad that you're here. And let's keep going on the CBD journey. I'll see you soon.